Welcome everybody. I'm just going to give it a little minute whilst our everything warms up and gets all logged on, but I am just going to introduce us all. I think we are absolutely live. My name is Kelly Dunham. I'm the Voices on the Coast coordinator, and today I would like to welcome you to Voices on the Coast, the online literature festival. Today we're coming to you from Emmanuel Lutheran College on the Sunshine Coast in Queensland. I would first like to acknowledge the traditional owners of the custodians of the land, the Gubbi Gubbi people, and we pay our respects to the elders, both past, present and future, for they hold the memories, the traditions, the culture and the hopes of Indigenous Australians. This is our 26th annual Voices on the Coast Literature Festival, proudly presented by Emmanuel Lutheran College, and traditionally we're usually with the University of the Sunshine Coast, but at the moment it is Emmanuel Lutheran College presenting this year, along with our sponsors, who are Emmanuel Lutheran College Parents and Friends, Kids on the Coast magazine, 92.7 Mix FM, and we're proudly supported by the Sunshine Coast Council's grants program. First, a bit of housekeeping. We do have our Q&A question area in the side of the panel. You are most welcome to pop in some questions and we'll try and answer them at the end of the session. And also at the end of the session, we will send you a survey and that can we can ask if you want to have a link as well. I've got a little question there saying, Hayley, hi, we're all still waiting for our students to arrive. And I know that timing can be really difficult. So we will get started and we can send you that presentation afterwards. The other thing is I encourage you to go out and buy the book afterwards because this is an amazing little number. Our supporters here for bookshops are QBD Kawana and QBD Maroochydore and the Little Book Nook at Palmwoods. Okay, now I am just going to continue. I'm just swapping pieces of paper here. We do have a lot of screenshot swapping today, so hopefully I'm going to be on top of it, but if not, we'll get there as soon as possible. So I would like to say it's our first time in 26 years we're actually privileged to be part of a global book launch, and we have got people from all over the place, the United States, Canada, various states in Australia as well, so it's absolutely awesome. We've got, we've got schools attending from Malaysia, Canada, and all across Australia. So welcome to this momentous event. Wildlife Wong and the Sun Bear is the first in a series of chapter books about a scientist called Dr. Wong, and who lives in the jungle of Borneo. It is written by Australian author Dr. Sarah Pye. Just wave, Sarah. She's in the corner over there, who lives on the Sunshine Coast. So here is the beautiful book, it's just absolutely lovely. So get your hands on that one. When Wildlife Wong meets Damai, she's a tiny sun bear with an uncertain future. Her mother has been killed by poachers. She is scared and alone. Wildlife Wong becomes her new mum. He teaches her to climb trees and dig for food. Before long, she joins a gang of new sun bear friends at the Borneo Sun Bear Conservation Centre. Life is much better, but will Damai ever be a wild bear again? I'm proud to introduce the real Wildlife Wong and also Dr. Sarah Pye to tell us more about this book.
Thank you, Kelly, for such a wonderful introduction. I'm hoping everybody here likes bears. You can probably tell I do because I've got a few bears behind me. Welcome to everybody from the Sunshine Coast, Sri Lanka, Canada and the USA, Harvey Bay and also Malaysia. So I'm very excited to be part of this launch, and I hope you are as well. I'd like to tell you a little bit about how I came to write this book, and then I'll introduce you to the hero himself. A long time ago, actually 2012, I took my daughter to the island of Borneo on holiday. Some of you might know where Borneo is. If not, you can look it up later. One of the most famous things about Borneo is orangutans, and we wanted to see if we could actually see some. I didn't know anything about sun bears at that time, though. I didn't realize that they shared the rainforest with orangutans. While I was there, I met a scientist called Wong Suti. Wong is an ecologist, which means a person who studies how animals and plants work together. He also researches rainforest, as well as researching rainforest animals. He created a rescue center for sun bears, and he showed me around. I learned on that first visit that poachers kill adult sun bears with their body parts. They're thought to be medicine. Their babies or cubs are sold illegally as pets, but when they grow up, they're dangerous, so they're kept in small cages. Sometimes the Saba Wildlife Department finds out. They're rather like the nature police. They take the cubs and he and his team teach them how to be wild sun bears again. Check out this one here. Damai is the name of one of the real rescued cubs. This is her on the side of next to me, and this book tells her story. When Damai arrived at the rescue center, she was a very small, hungry bear. Wong and his team fed her every 4 hours, even during the night. Eventually, she was big enough to make friends with other rescued bears. Damai became good at climbing trees and building nests to sleep in. Then after a few years, Wildlife Wong decided she was ready to be rescued. He asked me if I wanted to come to help. The vet, Dr. Nabila, sedated Damai for her journey. And then I'm going to read you a little bit of what happened next. The journey begins. When she woke up with a headache, Damai was lying on a soft bed of leaves. She could barely turn around. Time had disappeared, but Damai knew it was the middle of the night because she could hear frogs croaking. At 2 a.m., Wong knocked on my bedroom door and I got dressed quickly. I hadn't slept much because I was excited. We drove back to the bear house and he walked straight to Damai's cage. Wong stuck the end of a bottle of water through the bars and Damai drank in big gulps. Then he squeezed honey on the bars of her cage as a treat. 4 tired men lifted her cage into the back of a truck and slammed the tailgate. Wong got back into the driver's seat and I got into the back. The doors bunched shut. Operation Freedom had begun. I'm not going to spoil the story, so if you want to find out what happens to Damai, you're going to have to read the book. Do you remember I said Wildlife Wong was an ecologist and studied how animals and plants work together? Well, Wong works with all kinds of animals, so there's many other stories to tell. The next one will be called Wildlife Wong and the Orangutan, and the one after that will be Wildlife Wong and the Pygmy Elephant. All these books include scientific information and science experiments, so you can imagine it as a rainforest scientist, just like Wong. Each of the experiments are linked to the story in some way. For instance, the bear keepers at the SPCC make toys for sun bears called enrichments, so they don't get bored. Check out this experiment where you can make a popsicle enrichment for your dog in the same way that the bear keepers make toys for sun bears. It doesn't matter if you don't have a dog, you can always make an enrichment for the animals at the Sticky Down Animal Refuge or another rescue centre close to you. Check it out. There you go. So that gives you something to do on the weekend. I'm sure you've got plenty of questions about Borneo and sun bears. Save those up because you'll get to talk to me and Wong a little later. But before then, I'd like to introduce you to my friend and the hero of the Wildlife Wong books, Dr. Wong Suti. Hi, Wong.
Hi, Sarah. Hi, Kelly. Good morning to all of you.
Good to see you.
Yes,
Are you going
good
to
to see you
tell
too.
us a little bit about bears today?
Sure, of course. Yeah, what do you want to know about bears? I got lots of story, as you know.
Oh, go for it.
Okay. Well, I have been working with the Malayan sun bear for the last 23 years. I was given this opportunity, a golden opportunity, a very rare opportunity to study wild sun bears in Borneo back in 1998. And that's how I first come across sun bears and how I established this long-term relationship with the sun bears. And at the times, no one ever studied sun bears, so I was really, really fortunate to be able to to be able to have this opportunity to work with sun bears. I study wild sun bears. I How to study wild sun bears. I have to trap wild sun bears, and after that I sedate the sun bears in a trap, put a collar, and after that I track down the sun bears back into the forest. They are the smallest bear species in the world, and they are one of the most neglected large mammal in Southeast Asia at the time. Yeah, so we do not know anything about, say, for example, their food habits, their home brain sizes, what kind of thing that they do in the forest. So it's really, really privileged to be able to have this first-hand information of sunbears. From the study, we know that they are such an important seed dispersal in the forest. They plant tree in the forest. We call them very, very important tree planters in the forest. We see them make nests, amazing behaviors. We see them, is a very important forest doctor, forest engineer, forest food provider, and many, many other ecological roles that they play in the forest. And many plant species and many wildlife species benefited from the presence of sunbears in this forest. And these are all amazing. But when I come out from the forest, I see the other side, the other not so amazing side, the other horrible side where their habitat has been cleared by people, human activity, from logging, from agriculture, from land conversions. And then we see bears are being killed, being poached, and babies being kept as pets, and all of this horrible, horrible thing to a point where I think I need to do something to help them. And therefore, back in 2008, I founded the Bonin Sun Bear Conservation Center, aims to conserve sun bear through holistic approach that incorporates improved animal welfare, education, research, rehabilitations, ecotourism, and everything else that I think matters to help these bears for a long, long, to make sure that they're survivor here in this forest for a long, long time. So after 12 years, 13 years, I'm still doing what I'm doing. And then it is really, really great to have to know Sarah. And Sarah wrote a book, of course, the very first book about the sun bear called Saving Sun Bears, which was published last year. And right now, looking forward for a series of children's book, Wildlife Wong, and the series. So I really, really thank you, Sarah, for this opportunity to bring the story of myself and the wildlife that I live to all of you. I hope all of you will enjoy the story and also enjoy all the little activities that described in the book. And so that you know more about wildlife, you can do something to help wildlife, and action always start when you are young. And hopefully when you few more years along the line, you can do a lot more to help wildlife. And together we can make a difference. Yeah, Sarah.
Yeah. Um, I've got a couple of questions for you, Wong. Can you tell us about how you actually got interested in working with sun bears as a child, or what was the first time that you actually met a sun bear?
Okay, when I was a child, actually I don't have many special feeling, except then I the very first sunbear that I encountered was actually when I was a kid. I grew up in Penang, West Malaysia, and in Penang there's a very famous botanical gardens, and back then there was four sunbears that they keep in a small exhibit. And then that was the very first sunbear that I saw. There was four of them I can recall, and what they do all day is pacing on this cement floor. It was not a very pleasant scene, but at the times nobody know that behaviors is called pacing. That behaviors is a result from wildlife being confined in small area, and it creates a lot of stress. And people are throwing fruits to those bears. And for us as a kids, we always feel pretty amused to see the bear was standing up begging for food and all of that. And at the times I did not know that it was so wrong. It was bad. Until now, I know that it is wrong. Bears are supposed to be live in the wildlife. I believe in the wild. Sun bears is a wildlife, and we should keep wildlife wild. Yeah.
Yeah,
So,
really important
yep.
point, isn't it? But and that's the same everywhere, isn't it? We need to keep all our wild areas live, even in Borneo and the Sunshine Coast as well. It's just equally as important. So all these kids who are watching today are potential wildlife warriors, aren't they?
Yes, definitely, definitely. Yeah. If I can do it, so can all of you. One day when you grow up, as long as you follow your heart, as long as you're well educated, you learn a lot on the wildlife in our environment, and then and know the importance of their presence. And then hopefully when you grow up one day, you can all help our wildlife, help the environment, and help us as well. Because when our wildlife is being taken care of, when our environment is being taken care of, we as humans will live in a very good environment as well.
Can you please tell people, Wong, how is it, or what decisions do you have to make to be able to release a bear? What makes them a candidate for release?
Okay, so that's a very good question. Well, first of all, um, we cannot release those bear that has been kept in or confined in human captivity or small cages for a long, long time. So those bears that grew up in small cages are not a release candidate because they lost all of the instinct on finding food. They don't have the strength or the muscle to climb trees, or they associate human with food and that kind of thing. So those are a big no for release candidate. And then so the potential release candidate are the bear that we rescue as a cub, baby bear that was captured by poachers after their mom being killed, and then the Sabah Wildlife departments managed to rescue them and then send to us. So we nurse them since little. We play the roles as their surrogate mother and bring them in the forest when they are little, so that their instincts of finding food in the forest, of surviving in the forest, are still very strong. Say, for example, the climbing skill, the looking for grubs, looking for termites, or eating earthworm, and that kind of instinct are still strong. So that process is actually a very long process. After our caretaker or the surrogate mother bond with them, the bear's cub trust the surrogate mother, or sometimes myself when I raise my cub, and then that process lasts several years until they are too big to walk, and then they were growing up in our forest enclosure at our center. And then when they reach adulthood at the age of 4 or 5 years old, that's the time we release them. And of course, before that, we still need to do some study and assessing their behaviors, whether they are passing on, say, for example, tree climbing, say, for example, building nests, finding food, avoid humans, and a series of criteria. And from our knowledge, we think, oh, that bears is the best release candidate.
And that,
And he has the,
but actually
yeah.
teach them not to like humans again, don't you?
Yes, yeah. So we also notice that when these bears get older and older, they shy away from strangers. So that is very important characters to select the potential release candidate. Yeah.
Yeah. I've got one more question for you, Wong, before I'm sure we can pass over to lots of other people who've got questions. But how does it? I've been really excited to write your story, and I want to thank you very much for allowing me to do so, and allowing me into your life, and allowing me to spend some time with your family and your friends and your colleagues. I want to know how it feels. That must feel a bit weird, having someone digging around in your life.
Yeah, absolutely.
Having books about you in your lucky hat.
Yes. Well, again, I want to thank you as well for coming into my life. And right now, I don't think there's anybody in the world know more about me than myself. So it will be you, Sarah. Yeah, but I'm glad that we meet. I mean, for me, I believe everything happened for a reason, including I met you many years ago, and that has a reason, that has a purpose, and one of the many purpose, is of course producing writing the books and let my story be known by so many people across the world. And the important thing is that I don't want to keep everything that I encounter, that I experience into to myself. Because for me, as a tropical forest ecologist, as a wildlife biologist, I've seen a lot of things that most people never see. Say for example, if you look at my Instagram, for those of you who have not followed me in my Instagram, please do search for Wong Siew, one word, and you can find me. And I have shown so many videos, not just sun bears. Whatever that I encounter, I'll post it. I'll post it up, and that kind of small little story makes a big difference. I think if a picture worth 1,000 words, a small little video clips worth 1,000 pictures. So you can see the impact of all of that. And all of these creatures, just like when you watch BBC David Attenborough wildlife documentary, are all happen here on our planet. We all live in the same planet. Yeah. So that is the message behind that.
It is, and it's a message I want to reiterate as well, that all those kids who are listening today, you've all got stories to tell. It doesn't matter if it's the story of ants in your backyard or it's the story of something as crazy as a koala or something, We've all got stories to tell, and there's so many different ways to tell them. Writing is only one. I choose to use a pen. Wong uses videos, and other people use other methods. So tell stories. And keep telling stories, because the more stories we can tell about the environment, the more people we can get doing the right thing.
Yeah, absolutely. Especially when the places where I'm at, in Borneo, I'm from Malaysia, we have the most diverse forest in the world. We have the oldest rainforest in the world, and it's one of the biological hotspot where there are so many plants, so many creatures, so many animals, and so many stories all in all.
Yeah, there's so many stories to tell. So tell them. I reckon we probably need to hand back to Kelly. Hey, Kelly, have we got people with other questions?
I do have a couple of questions here. And can I just remind everybody that Sarah and I are both here on the Sunshine Coast, but Dr. Wong is actually in Malaysia. So it's absolutely awesome that we have all three of us here in one spot. I find it mind-blowing that we do have Dr. Wong here from Malaysia at the same time. So thank you so much for joining us. Now, questions. I do have a couple here, and feel free to write any questions in, and I'll try and pop them out. One question is this available worldwide to buy? So yes, at the end of this time session, we will putting it out onto a link for Voices people who have purchased this link, but I think we're also sharing it with you, Sarah, and it's going to go wherever Sarah would like that to go. So that's awesome.
Yeah, so the launch actually will be live, but also the book. I think that was probably part of the question as well. Is that the book is available through all good bookshops and online formats as well. So everywhere.
Great. There's another question here or comment from Chris. And our boy Riley really loved being included in your book by writing a review. I know he has friends who would love to engage with the book in this way. Will there be other opportunities for children to review your books and be included?
That's a great question. Thank you first to Riley. Riley was a very lucky boy who got to have a look at the book before anyone else did. And I'll show you Riley's little review in here too, so you can see what he said. There it is. Here, hang on. Where is he? I've lost Riley. Here we go. There's Riley.
Perfect.
So yes, if there's any of the kids watching today who are interested in reviewing the next book will be Wildlife Wong and the Orangutan. And if you're interested in reviewing it and get your picture and your review in the book, all you have to do is contact me by email, and we'll look at the opportunity to do that for all the books that are coming up. So yeah, you might actually get yourself in a book as well as reading it.
Perfect. Oh, gosh, there's another couple of questions have popped in here. And there's two very similar ones. So I'll read both of them. One's from Jackie saying, are sun bears similar to moon bears and why are they at risk? And the other question is Colleen from Siena Catholic College. Has Wong ever seen a moon bear? We've been learning about the moon bear rescue team. So clearly moon bears and sun bears. An answer on that one, Dr. Wong.
Okay, so yes, I have visited the facilities run by Animal Asia Foundation, where they have been rescuing all this bear farms, moon bear and sun bears in China and Vietnam. And it's a horrible thing that this bear been through. I'm so glad that Animal Asia Foundations and other groups like Free the Bears have and Four Paws as well. So these are several NGOs that has been rescuing farm bears in these regions, and these bears are absolutely been through the most horrific experience that anybody can imagine on an animal. So these are being confined in small cages. They were surgically inserted a catheter into their stomach, into their gall to milk the bile on a regular basis and things like that. So many of them did not live long at all. So we as a human, I think we need to end this cruelty as soon as possible, as much as possible, because we cannot let our happiness or our health build on the pain of some other animal. So this is really bad, and luckily we don't have this kind of practice in Malaysia, but we do have people keeping bears as pet. We do have people killing bears for meat, for medicine purpose. Yeah.
Horrific. Yes. Oh, sorry, Sarah, I've cut you off.
No, that's all right. Just making a comment of how sad it is, And I think is it year 4 they do a unit on moon bears, which is really fantastic because it's a related species to the sun bears, and it's great to know that everyone's aware.
Absolutely. I've just lost my question. What is the Taryn asks, what is the oldest bear you've come across?
The oldest bear that I come across. Okay, so it was at our center. The oldest bear is Amako. He is 28 this year and still going strong. And then the oldest sun bear that we actually know about is she's from Honolulu Zoo. She died at the age of 28 years old. A few years ago, she died. And then in Australia, Akbar from Adelaide Zoo also passed away just I think 2 years ago. And actually we have Anna Gee in our audience. She is the animal keeper who take care of Akbar for many years. So if you look up Akbar from Adelaide Zoo, he is also another old bear that live a good life. He was rescued from Cambodia, I think, yeah.
And we also have a sun bear on the Sunshine Coast at Wildlife HQ. At the big kind of, that's Mali.
Yes, Mali. Yes.
The only sun bear in Queensland is right around the corner if anyone wants to go.
Yeah. And then if you are familiar with the Taronga Zoo's sun bear called Mr. Hawk passed away just I think a month or two ago. Yeah, and he's also lived a long life. Yeah.
Fantastic. Now, how many bears at the centre are unable to be released, and are the bears found at zoos usually bears that can't be released?
Yeah, so at our center, I would say right now, because we still have young cubs who are growing up, we're still assessing their suitability to release back into the wild. So at this moment, I would say more than I would say 2/3 of our bears are not releasable because we rescue them as an adult, and some of them, even though when we rescue them as a cub, they got like malnourished problems, they got like problem with their brain, they walking in circles and all of this very bad physical conditions. Those are not release candidates. So we have about a third of our bears are potential release candidate, and we are still studying them. Their behaviors. And your second question is what?
If they're not released, do they go to various zoos?
Okay, so if they are not released, they will stay here for the rest of their life. At the Bonin Sambar Conservation Center, we have the state-of-the-art facilities because our center is actually within a natural forest reserve with tall trees, with dense forests, and it is all fenced out, and the bears spend the times there and grow up, and hopefully, they do not have to go through moving to another zoo. And even although so far since 2008 we have not sent any bears to another zoo, and if it happened in the future, I would have to guarantee that the zoo that they were sent to have to be a great zoo, not just good, have to be a great zoo, and their welfare are well being cared for, and that is our concern and that is our priority.
I love that priority. That's fantastic. Dr. Wong, what did you feel the first time you saw the bears get hurt?
Oh, okay. Well, it was, after many, many years, you see, I have been studying sun bears since 1998, and that relationship, that affections to the sun bears grow, since then. And then it to a point, especially after I set up this Bonin Sambar Conservation Center, I treat them like my family. I spend more time with these bears than my own family who live in Taiwan. And then so it is like a family member being hurt. So I feel really, really upset, really, really angry and mad. Every time I come across people post pictures of bears being slaughtered, coupled in, like, say, in social media and things like that. And I would spend no time to report them and make sure that they got the proper punishments. Because first, it is against the law, and second, it is so wrong to torture, to treat an animals like that. Especially, we know that it is our national treasures, from Malaysia, and nobody should treat those animals like that. And we have to change that kind of wrongdoing, and we need to condemn that kind of behavior as much as possible. Yeah, so anger. So I have to turn my angriness positive power to help the bear. Period.
All right. Well, maybe this will turn the anger off. Do sun bears sunbake? Is that why they are called sun bears?
Yeah. Actually, yes. Sun bear do sunbathing. Especially you'll be surprised how cold relatively cold our rainforest. Especially early in the morning, especially typical rainforest weather is like in the late afternoon. You will have this pouring tropical shower and everything wet, everything cool down. And then and when the morning sun came out, it's actually really comfortable, really nice to sunbathing. And of course, for nutritional points of view, suns give us vitamin D's, and I'm sure the bears would mix a lot of vitamin D's and other good stuff, good energy that the sun gave when they do sunbathing. And the name for sun bear, Gila arctos, Gila is sun, arctos is bear, was given to the sun bears in the bears some 200 years ago when the naturalists first discovered sun bear in Borneo 200 years ago, and that bear was actually basking under the sun in the land with a lots of sun. Therefore, the word sun bear, Gila arctos, was given to this bear. Yes.
Perfect. I've got another question here. Actually, there's lots of fabulous questions coming in. I'm trying to scroll through them all.
Before you go to the next one, Kelly, just if people don't get their questions answered, they're very, very welcome to contact us both directly as well.
Well,
yes, and of course, we will have our book club, Saving Sun Bear book clubs happening, from time to time, and they can join us.
Yes, and join us there as well, just in case. You don't feel upset if you don't get them answered.
Cool. I'm glad about that. Are there albino sun bears? And if there are their markings the same?
Okay, that is a very good question. I know that lately, for some reason, there are many albino. Yesterday, I saw a picture on Facebook, an albino giraffe. An albino this and albino that. To be honest, so far I have not come across any albino sun bear yet. If it does have a albino sun bears, yes, I'm sure the chest patch would have this little different marking, or I don't know, and the marking will just be like a regular sun bears, and yeah, so it's just no pigmentation. All of the color pigments are all turned white, including the eyes. Those are the albinos. So hopefully not. Hopefully not.
Might look like a photographic negative or something.
Yeah. Hopefully not. So these are all these genetics disorder, or yeah. So those are bad things that happens to animals nowadays. So hopefully not off for the sun bears. Yeah.
I have a question here, or quite a long question from the Year 4 class at Budrum, and some of it has been answered, but how does it feel to be able to release a sun bear after rescue and rehabilitation? And how many sun bears are left in the wild, and how many in your sanctuary?
Okay, so I answer your questions backward. Okay, so at our center we have 43 sun bears, and over the last 13 years we have rescued 65 sun bears. So 43 sun bears still live at our center. Your second last question is how many bears are there in the wild? We do not know, but one thing for sure, they are much rarer than the orangutan, which is a critically endangered species. And a few years ago, West Malaysia governments do give a statement saying that there's only 300 to 500 sun bear left in West Malaysia. That is not many at all. Oh. And then what is the very first question again?
How does it feel to be able to release it?
Okay, so how does it feel? It's a mixed feeling, to be honest. Say for example, I treat the sun bear like my own kids. When they first came in, they're like baby. We nurse them, we grow them out, and then we know that by the times when we open the door, the bear will dash out, walk away, and we'll never see it again. And that is it. So, but for me, it's a lot of love, happy for the bear. Finally, they managed to live like in the wild, but at the same time, sad as well, because I would not have the chance to take care of this bear again. I would not have the chance to see this bear again, and that goodbye is like forever. And then we also know that there's a worriness behind this, because once the dog is out, they are all on their own. They have 50% chances of surviving. They have 50% of maybe dying from and they are faced with all kind of challenges that a wild bear face in the wild. And I just cannot guarantee that they will live happily ever after. But I know that it's the right thing to do, because they are wildlife and they should live in the forest and not in captivity. Yeah. Mixed feeling, everything all mixed together.
These are fabulous questions. And this one sort of comes on the back of that one is, do the sun bears have any predators? And if so, what are they?
Yes, sun bears do have predators. So for those bears that live sympatrically or live together with tigers, say for example, or big cats like leopard, tigers and leopards are known to prey on the sun bears in Asian mainland and Sumatra. And here in Borneo, we don't have tiger or spotted leopards. But we do have a documented case of a natural predators prey on sun bear, which is a 7 meters reticulated python, a 7 meters big snake, python, that kill a full-grown adult female sun bear and swallow that female adult sun bear whole with a collar. That's how we know it, because that bear was a studied bear by Gabriela Fredrickson in Kalimantan. And
so you managed to get the collar back, didn't you, in the end?
No. So big snake.
Gabriela got the collar back, didn't she?
Yes, managed to, that how the story ends is Gabi managed to capture that snake with a big belly, obviously with a bear inside, and she waited for 2 months for the snake to digest the entire bears. And after that, she need to get a vet to operate the snake and retrieve the collar out of the snake's belly, because the snake cannot pass that collar into the feces and and pull that color out, whatever you call that.
So that possibly answers one of our questions was, do you tag the sun bears to keep track of them? So obviously you do.
Yes, we do. So this is what we learn so much about them. We have to tag the sun bear with a collar. When I did my study some 20 years ago, it's a VHS collar because at the time there's no GPS collar, and right now we use GPS or satellite collar, which is a lot more expensive, but a lot more accurate and a lot more easy to work with. Yeah.
Great. We've got about 4.5 minutes, so I'm going to ask a few more questions and then we'll cut to the end. But what is the main food that the sun bear eats?
Okay, sun bears is an omnivore bear. They just like they eat anything that they can find in the forest that can be considered as food. They'll eat it. Wild fruits, invertebrates, vertebrates, everything else that you can think of. Anything that move in the forest are potential bear food, but they are not great predators that can bring down a boar or a deer, but they will eat meat. Say, for example, if they come across a tortoise in the forest, they will eat a tortoise. But in general, most of the food that they eat are like termite, earthworms, all these invertebrates that they can find, beetle grubs. If they can find a fruiting fig tree, ficus is very important food source for them. So yeah, they will gorge themselves with all kind of wild fruits. Yeah,
and they love honey.
and they love honey, of course. That's why they are called honey bears as well. Yes.
Okay. There's a quick question here. Do sun bears live in the trees or on the ground?
The answer is both. They are one of the most arboreal bear species in the world. They travel on the ground, they find food on the ground, and then when they take a nap or they want to sleep, they sleep high on top of the tree. If they've come across a fruiting fig tree or fruiting trees, they go up to a tree and harvest the fruits directly from the tree. So they spend a lot of time on tree. And one of the good reasons, like say they want to sleep with a dry body in the rainforest, where's the dry spot up on the tree. And then on the rainforest, the forest leeches also very aggressive on sucking blood. So how to escape from those blood-sucking leeches up the tree? So all in all, there's a great benefit, and also escape from predation as well. Just like I mentioned about tigers and leopard, up on the tree, you escape tiger predation.
Well, this is sort of the opposite question, and I'll probably finish on this one. Have any of the bears tried tunneling out?
Oh yes, oh yes. Sun bears are equipped with great tool, which is their claw, big, strong claws. And then at our center, some of our bears are working hard to tunnel across out. And so far, when we see this tunneling behavior, we have to fill up the tunnel that they dig immediately before they making a tunnel and then get escaped, which is not good.
That's good. Look, I do have.
Not
sorry,
just that though, Kelly, because one of the bears actually escaped through the top of the trees as well. Natalie was actually free for a month, so that was a scary one, wasn't it, Wong?
Yes.
So you would have to have a very large fence, obviously, around. And does the fence go down into the ground so they can't tunnel through? Right.
Oh yes. We spend a lot of effort on building those fence. Yes, the fence are 3 feet down.
Oh, insane. Look, I am going to stop. There are some fabulous questions in there, and I can export all of those questions. I might send them to you, and whether you can just do a quick one-liner that we'll be able to send them out with this presentation. We might do that as well. So I'm just going to pop on a screen here. Hang on a minute.
Thanks everyone for those wonderful questions. They're fabulous.
I'm just going to pop on our details about where we can see you further. Hang on a minute. And that one, there we go. There's there were a few questions about, obviously there's the where you can buy the book, and Sarah's website as well, and the Borneo Sun Bear Conservation Centre. Oh, I should be reading my script here. Thank you, everybody. Sorry, I was so carried away with all those wonderful questions. Thank you for everyone to coming for the Wildlife Wong and the Sun Bear. It's available through the Borneo Sun Bear Conservation Centre online shop and also through Amazon. And if you're on the Sunshine Coast, you can also buy it through our local bookshops. The next 2 books, obviously we're all looking forward to that, will be out soon. And you can join, because there was a question about this, about the Wildlife Wong's Kids Book Club, and then download a free nature journal and watch experimental videos. So all sorts of fabulous stuff on there. And that's on sararpie.com.au. I'm just going to pop us all back on screen here so that you can all see us all. And I'm just going to say thank you so much. Thank you so much. It's been absolutely extraordinary. That, once again, fabulous questions. I think everybody has learnt so much, and we will send this through on a link to anybody who's purchased tickets. And also, I think, Sarah, you were also going to share it as well through your networks as well.
Yeah, we've got some other schools around the world that couldn't be here because they're asleep at the moment, so they'll be watching later. Thank you so much, Kelly, for everything the Voices on the Coast does. And most of all from me is thank you very much, Wong, for everything that you do.
Yeah, thank you, Sarah, and thank you, Kelly, and thank you for this opportunity. Yeah, I love you all. Thank you so much. Yeah.
Fantastic. All right, I'm going to end this broadcast. So thanks, everybody, and hopefully we'll see you very shortly and very soon. Thank you.
Thanks,
all right,
guys.
bye-bye. Yeah,
Bye.
take care. Bye.